Hello everybody, you alright? Been a while, I haven't done a video for a while and I wasn't going to bother doing any with these, with what I was doing in the van. I'm still doing it. I was going to do it yesterday, a nice sunny day, but I had a nightmare with something else. Won't go into that. But yeah, anyway, so I just thought I'd do a little one on what I'm doing today, putting the head on. So just show you a couple of things. I had the head, so basically that obviously that's the block. New head. So the story went basically but I mean this is going back a while now, so I've done it steady. I ain't been rushing. I've been doing it as I can without going mad. Doing it steady, bit at a time, making sure it's done properly. So on the strip down, my intention originally was just to change the head gasket and the timing chain, because that's what I thought it would be. I thought the head gasket had gone. I've packed the old one away now, but it would have been good to show. I think I showed on a previous video what had happened to it. So I took the head off to change the gasket, and brought it in, and there was a little crack in the head. And what happened was, I think this had happened a little while back. I'd been using steel seal to fix what I thought was the head gasket, because it was pressure. It was still running, but it was pressurising the system. So I thought, oh, it's head gasket. But it turned out all along it was actually a little crack in the head. And what happened was, the steel seal and the like, you know, the rad seals, the stuff you use to seal the cooling system, had an effect at first. It helped. It held me through for a year, and then suddenly I started problems again. And what happened was, I think, it blocked these little. You've got these little waterways, and on the original one, the one I took off, the steel seal had blocked those ways. So the water wasn't getting into the head, so the heating up cooling. I used to notice, I used to think, that's getting hot. You could feel the heat off it when you walked past, when you got out. And I thought, yeah, that is really warm. You know, I know an engine should be hot, but that is ridiculously hot. And what happened, looking at it now, I mean, people said you shouldn't use steel. The trouble is, when you're in full swing, getting ready for harvest, trying to get the combines ready, harvest just round the corner, the last thing you want to be doing is doing a head gasket on a transit van. It just don't compute. So for me, I just slung a load of stuff in it, which held it for a while, but then it had the negative impact in the end. See, with this van, it actually says in the manual, service every 15,000 miles, and I thought, man, that's too much. So I generally half that, so every 7,500 miles I'd change the oil, good quality oil, and I'd put like Molly Slip or Slick 50 in it. These days it's Slick 50. Molly Slip's a bit harder to get hold of now, to protect the engine and everything like that. But it's a good thing I did do it that frequently, because basically as the further and further we got into this machine, obviously the head was cracked, so new head, ordered a new head, that was 500 quid. Looking at the piston board, we noticed, well, I know, basically I was told by that owns and runs this workshop that I do most of my work for. He said, you really want to get that block out and get it sent away. So we got the block out, stripped the block down, sent it away to a local company who machined it all and checked it all, and they said there's nothing wrong with the block, just needs a light hone. Yeah, so basically as we rebuilt it, new big end bearings, new main bearings, new piston rings. Pistons were okay. Trying to think, well, oh yeah, fit the new, because obviously while it's out, it did the clutch. This being actually a four-wheel drive, if you look in, where is it? Down here, well, you can't really see it now, but down there, it's a drive van with a 4-wheel drive like appendage at the front. It doesn't have a transfer box. It actually the gearbox itself drives front and back, but it's not a permanent 4-wheel drive. You just press a button and it engages front. You don't use it hardly ever, but it gets you out of trouble if you are in the field, and it's always been really good. You know, it's really good. But to change the clutch, it's easier to take the engine out than it is to take the gearbox, because actually to take the gearbox out, you're talking about quite a big job. You're having to take all the subframe out and everything to get the gearbox out. It wouldn't be nice looking at it. So basically we changed the clutch where I had the opportunity, rebuilt it, put it all back in, and now it's the opportunity to put the head on. So got the instructions. Basically here you put a blob of sealant, leave that dry, little blob of sealant there and there, because that's the front cover. That's like an oil, that's oil, that's an oil. All that will be submerged in oil when it's running, because that's the timing chain. I just cleaned this surface just a little bit more, make sure it's nice and clean. Obviously these are the places here where you put a little bit of sealant as well. The gasket goes on dry, and I've got the fitting instructions here. That's the one that came with the gasket. That's the one that got printed off. So basically just not too much oil on these, because what happens is if you put a load of oil and it all drips in the bottom there, what happens is it hydraulics up. So just a tiny little bit of oil on there, light oiling, and then so there's like obviously, I mean, most people know that. Some people don't. There is a sequence to the bolts. So you do 1 to 10, and then 11 to 18. 1 to 10 are the big ones. 11 to 18 are little ones. They both got different settings. So you got with them. There's like 3. You do 3 sets, and you got to make sure you remember which one you did last. You don't get distracted, because what happens then is you have to start again, and the trouble is you might have stretched the bolts. So you got to get it. You need to get it right first on the sequence. Always remember which one the last one you did was. Don't start like talking to people and because you'll forget, and then you're halfway through and you don't know where you got to. So you need to find a way of doing it like that. Otherwise you end up in trouble, because I know it's happened. I've done it before. I've been there, done that. It can happen. It can happen to anybody. But yeah, I'll show you in a minute. So I only want to do this once, really. As I was briefly saying, actually, it's a good thing I serviced this twice, because actually, even though I was servicing it every service about twice as much as it should have been, I think once I left it a little bit longer, but I always did it because I knew this van was big investment. The fact that it's a 4-wheel drive van made me want to put this money into it, because I got offered 500 quid for it as it was. Once it stopped starting, that was it. And I thought, for what it's worth, I've got access to this workshop, I can buy the parts, put them in it, and I just got to hope that it all works out all right. It should do, because I can't think of anything that hasn't been done right. But anyway, I've got to be quick. Like I say, the regular servicing helped, but even then, there was where you could see it. It wasn't beyond repair. The thing that stopped it working was the crack in the head. Eventually, the crack got that big, there was no compression, basically, so it wouldn't start, it couldn't start. So, yeah, we've gone through it. I bought loads of stuff, loads of different things, even a front cover, like just a front cover, all kinds of stuff to get it to run nicely. So, these can be temperamental, these engines, but anyway, you only want to do it once. You're only really supposed to put this in the corner, but this won't interfere, so I put a sealant around there, because obviously that's in the oil. Put a little bit on there, make sure that's clean. That's going to go on there now. I'm going to lightly all the bolts, put them in and do them up in order. So I'll show you that in a minute. Just briefly, realised that oh wait a minute, that is obviously your stupid EGR valve that you don't really need if the engine runs properly. So that goes in first before you put the head in. Otherwise you've got to all unbolt it. So I'll show you that in a second. There you go. So yeah, that all goes in there like that, ready, because otherwise you won't get it over the head. So now the head can go on, and we're gas. I could have got around that, but it would have been a pain in the neck because you had to undo all the rusty bolts and that. So I just put it in as one unit, and then put the head on now. Right, so now we got the second stage. So I've just done the smaller bolts, 10. So where's the paperwork? So next round we got 40 and 20. So I'll do the first ones to 40. This is the second stage of the thing now. Right, so just change the socket quick. Excuse me. 17s and 13s. So first one, number 1, is that one there. So if you watch this, look. There you go. Now number 2. See, what I did do it them to 20, but because I've done all the others, it's yeah, it's one of them. So I've just done those first 2. I remember that. So basically, it's worth going around them when you do them all again on the same level, because obviously I've just done that, and as I've done them all, it's settled them out, and then the others aren't the same again, but it'll be fine. So what I'll do is I'll do the second group all the same, and then check them again, so that they're all to the maximum level. Each one of them is still the same, because as you do them up, it's taking the pressure off the others. So the ones you did first are loosening as you're doing the others around them. So that's what I'm going to do. But there you go, I'll catch you in a minute. Take too long to show you it all, hope you don't mind. I'll show you again, it didn't do it this time. Basically, it measures degrees. I've set it already, but you've got different settings on this. So you've got newton meters, inch pounds, foot pounds, kilograms, centimeters. None of them really I ever use apart from newton meters these days. Obviously with older stuff that was, older measurements and stuff, you could use those other things, I think, or other, depending on where the thing's made. So obviously you can adjust it, different ones, but so when you set it now, it will calibrate itself, so it knows where it is. So it's done that. So get the right socket. Like I say, I've double checked them all. I've done the final stage and done them all again, and then I'll just show you this first one. Look, number 1, which is that one. There you go. Make sure it's nice and on there. Okay, now. Oh, pardon me, swearing there. Sorry about that. It's not as easy to do with a camera, I have to be careful. There you go, that's that one done. So, you get the idea, there's quite a lot of strength in that. So that's tight. But like I say, it was important. I did them all, torqued them all to the maximum torque, the final, the second stage torque, and then I did them all again and levelled them out. So they were all 40, big one's 40, little one's 20. and now every one of them has 180. So make sure you only do you don't want to be doing it another 180 because it will screw the life out of them. So I don't double check it once I've done the 180. Once the 180 is done, that's it. It should be right. Don't double check it because you can't, because there is no torque setting for it once it's done there. Right, okay. See you in a minute. Next job's done. Got this manifold bolted on. This bolt's on the block here. So I loosened off these three little, but there's a little triangle plate there. One of them bolts to the block, the other two hold this EGR valve. And that's an absolute nightmare to get to. It's actually easier to take to get at that, it's easier to take the top off, you see. All this sort of work's easy to get at when you've got all this stuff off, so, this is all doable, more easy accessible with this off. So yeah, I put them all in loosely, new gasket on there, bolted them up, tightened them up, that is. So they're basically all the bolts are in, and then you tighten them up. So all the threads are catching, so they're going to do up, and then you do them all up. So one of the next couple of jobs will be put the turbo back. So I'm going to clean that. Obviously, that turbo pipe got to come out of the way. There's a little triangle bracket or something I've got to find, put on there. Clean these marrying faces up. I should have a new gasket come with a set to put in there, and then got a bolt this hideous pipe in here that comes to this obviously connects to the manifold. I'm not really down with all this global warming. I mean, from what I've seen, the earth itself creates carbon. I'm not an expert, I'm not a scientist, but I bet I won't go into it too much, but I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. So here's all like new gaskets and that we bought in a set for basically everything. I don't know what that is. That's inlet manifold, rubber gasket things. Not sure what that is. That goes on the front of the block where you're something to do with your water pipes and that, I think. Quite sure what that is. Yeah, there's a few of them on there, I'm not sure what they are yet. I know these are to do with your there's a pump on the side. What? I think that's like where your oil waste go through your water pumps and stuff like that, and they're forever starting to leak, they are. Yeah, there's like a bit that bolts to this side, and it has a, yeah, I don't really know, I can't remember what it is, but you got like vacuum pump and stuff like that's all to do with your brake, it's your servo for your brakes and stuff like that. Yeah, so, but anyway, that's my turbo gasket, that's the old one. I found a new one, so yeah, we'll chuck that one away. I will clean their surfaces, nice and brighten them up a bit with a bit of emery, and then we'll bolt it on. And then I'm going to go home and have some Sunday lunch in a minute. And yeah, I had a bit of a rant a minute ago. I'll leave it out there because I get a little bit annoyed when I see stupid stuff that's sold as saving the planet. Now then, afternoon, I'm all covered in grease. Bloke I work for said I look like a chimpanzee today. So there you go. Yeah, every day's a learning day. Yeah, so follow on from what I did the other day. So I haven't published it yet, obviously, until now. Until you're just about to see it. But yeah, I just put the timing chain on. It seemed a little bit tight at first, but so I think it got the head on. Well, obviously you see that the other day. got the rocker ladder bolted in, and I got I did the timing chain before I bolted the ladder down. That's called a ladder, and that sort of like transfers the like sort of drive from the cam to the valve there. And yeah, it's quite tight, but I suppose in a way it's so tight. It's compression, isn't it? So there you go. It seems pretty good. I mean, if we go, I can't go back. If I do, just stage back a bit, and oh, there you go. You see, so that'll do for tonight. It's all pretty good. I'm going to put the cover on it. I'm going to put the top on it, and I think I'm going to put the manifold on. And yeah, so basically it means that it can sit outside, and I've been putting, like, well, you can see it behind me, the bubble wrap. Been hanging that over it so that it sort of rains and it keeps a bit of the weather out of it and stops the leaves from going in there. Yeah, it's taken a while to get to this stage, but as I say, I'm not rushing it. And yeah, it's looking good, pretty good. And I hope it runs nice and sweet. That'll be good. I don't even know what I'm going to do with it yet. I might sell it, might do. We'll see. But it just depends. I mean, it's a handy van, but having all the tools, obviously it's a tool van. I'm thinking about making it half camper van, half tool van, so that I can, you know, I can travel about doing jobs maybe, you know, which wouldn't be a bad thing. There's a bloke on Facebook, I can't remember his name, I haven't seen him for a while actually, I haven't seen him posting anything. But he's a baler mechanic, Jones baler specialist. Can't remember his name now. But he goes around doing, well, balers, basically, fixing balers. And, you know, for somebody like me, like a single, like I say, I've got no one to answer to really. So it wouldn't be a bad thing. I don't know anything about balers, but not really anyway. I'd like to, but you know, getting the opportunity in it. So yeah, anyway, I'll update you in a minute. See you in a minute. So, got to this stage now. So putting the injectors, these were new not so long ago. Putting new copper washers on. So you look at that. When I fitted these ones, well, I don't know, a year ago probably, which is relatively recently in the time that I've had the van. When I was driving down the road away, one of them was, I think it was this one, was blowing. Number 2 was blowing. And then I'd taken them out again. I obviously had to retighten it. And I thought we had an issue. Well, we did, but I needed to tighten the bolt, that was it. There was nothing else. But you can see it's dented the washer. That's the sort of fingerprint at the end of the injector. And I've got expensive bits of kit. They get coded in. They got a little number at the top, each one of them. Yeah, you can't really see it. It's stupid the way they write it on there, really. But there's like a 16-digit number if my phone will ever look at it. Yeah, you can just see it there. It's yeah, it's not very good. I don't know why they don't put it in big letter, like print it properly onto it. But there you go. They don't, and they just don't do it. I don't know why. But anyway, you have to get electronic service tool, an EST. It's a computer you plug into the vehicle, and you go onto log into that part of the programming, and tell it what the number of the injector in, say 1, 2, 3, 4, what each one is, and it will accept it if it's right, and if it isn't right, then it won't accept it. Which is stupid, really, because if it knows if it's wrong, it obviously knows what it is. So why can't it just go, yeah, there it is? But there you go. I don't know. I'm not that clever. I just know that, in my mind, if it knows it's wrong, then it obviously knows what it is, I think. But there you go. Anyway, food for thought. This is what I do with these. If you do this is only to clean the crud off so that it goes back in and doesn't get stuck. That's the idea. It's not necessarily about making it look pretty, because you won't see most of it. But don't wire brush the very end, because there's a tiny little hole in there, and if you damage it, you'll damage your jet pattern will change, and it'll affect your performance. Right. Right, I'm going to have to use 2 hands, so I'll see you in a minute. Right, I've put this manifold on loose. I've just done up 3 bolts, 2 at the top, 1 at the bottom. Reason being, there is, where the glow plugs, there's a connecting wire that goes through all of them, powers it up, and the power earths through the actual, through the mechanism itself, through the glow plug, into the body of the engine. So the power goes through, it gets used up, and then the last little bit dissipates through the engine, back to the battery, back to the negative terminal on the battery. And I can't, as it stands, can't find it at the minute, and I just want to get it sealed up for now, and deal with the rest on Saturday. There's also some little tiny nuts that go on the top of it that I am going to have to look for on Saturday. That'll be a job I do on Saturday. Now I'm going to put the front cover on, which is this thing here. Just going to hope to find, I've got a gasket that goes on there. There's some sealer on there. Nuts and bolts. I'll try and find the nuts and bolts now. So wish me luck with that, because it's been a while since they've been in the box. So hopefully they're still there. Right, and this is the reason why I'd like to say all the nuts and bolts are in. Although I've had to improvise with 2 of them, because they're not the originals. So that one there needs a slightly longer one, and this one here needs a proper one put in it. And yeah, anyway, so basically I didn't tighten it up because this seal has to go on. You can see I've got some of this seal. I'll point at the seal so you can see it. This is this red grease is actually like specifically for rubber. Yeah, so put a little bit of that around there so it goes on nicely. So I didn't want to force it down until I put this on. I really need a tool for doing this, but you can get by. So there's the lip, there's the hole. Right. Excuse me a minute while I just put it on and I'll show you. Right. So I just punched it round. It needs a tool really with a 3-pronged thing that will fit on a ratchet. We have got one, but it's for taking these off, which is silly really, because it could have been done for doing these as well. But unfortunately it doesn't reach. You'll take that off, that cover, that's for you to check the pump, but it won't take that off because it's not got long enough prongs on it. But then now, I'm going to do it all up. So Alright, see you in a sec. There you go, all set to go. Everything's tight, just wiped off the excess sealer. So yeah, all good. A couple of bolts and bits and pieces I need to find, but most of it's all there now. Yeah, so basically it's not far, should be able to get running on Saturday. Just obviously wiring and pipes and stuff now. Put the oil in it and everything. Yeah, basically once the oil's in it and all the pipes and the wiring's on it, I don't necessarily need to put the water in it straight away, but I can do a trial run it up. I won't put the radiator on until it's run up, because obviously there's something wrong, I need to fix it. So there's no point having to take the radiator off again. But yeah, it's looking positive. So it certainly looks good. You know, been an interesting little thing to do, to be honest. It's been expensive, but I think to have an engine that's, basically brand new now, that's good. That's really good. I think in a sense it's worth more to me really than to sell it, because if I sell it, no one appreciates the work I've put into it. Whereas I do, I know what I've done to it, and I know that that's good. I'm confident that engine now is another, at least another 10 years in it, maybe more. Like, how old is the van? Trying to think. Van's 13 years old, done 140. I don't think it will do another. I think it will probably last, all being well, it'll last another 20 years. The bodywork will probably be worn out before that. Right, catch you later.